So I recently, very recently actually, had a situation where I was excluded in a group from something, and it really touched into my childhood wounds of rejection and abandonment. And I've had to take myself through the process of how to navigate it. I'm not quite yet ready to speak to the people involved, but I am working on it. But what I'm mostly doing is I'm working on me, and I'm taking the journey to really nourish, support, and love myself, and love that wounded child, that really hurting part inside me that knows actually it's got nothing to do with them. And actually I feel incredibly grateful that that this has happened too, because what it does is it forces me to, it doesn't force me to do anything. It invites me, let's reframe that. It invites me to really look at some of, again and again and again, because it keeps happening, some of my really deep core wounding. And each time something happens where my core wounding is affected and triggered, it's an opportunity. It's always an opportunity for some healing work, and to really look at it, because it's so easy. Somebody does something and they hurt us, or we feel hurt by their behavior, and so we blame them. And that's people are so quick to do that, aren't they? And I don't want to be doing that. I want to actually go, okay, so interesting that you've given me this gift, and see it as a gift, as opposed to seeing it as something not, something that's happened to me, because actually this has happened for me. So I'm going to say that again. This hasn't happened to me, this has happened for me. And so in that happening for me, I'm using it as an opportunity to do some really even dig a deeping inside. I can't even speak. Even deeper digging inside, to really bring up, to really look at what is it in me that needs healing here. So it's not about them, it's not about any of that. And I am sure that within the next couple of days it will pass through, and it will, I will have sat enough with my inner child to really sit with her, love her back to life, love her back out of the pain that she's in at the moment, into a much more loving space. But in order to do that, I've had to do two things. I've had to meet her, greet her, and love her, but I've also had to see the divinity in me and the divinity in them, and to understand that this didn't happen to me, but it happened for me. And to know that when people do things that hurt other people, it's usually because they're hurt or unprocessed or unaware or unconscious. I don't believe that anybody consciously goes out of their way to hurt another. I think sometimes things just happen, and there's a lack of awareness around it, and that's okay. We can create forgiveness for that. We can forgive ourselves for judging them as being whatever you've judged them for, and we can just come back to our loving self, can't we? We can come back to our divine self, and we can really also, in the same breath, we can meet and greet that child within, that's hurting, that's shouting, that's needing attention, and that's just needing some love and reassurance more than anything else, that even though, yes, I was excluded from the situation, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And my wounded child doesn't have to be excluded, because I can meet her, greet her, and love her, and we can walk together through life, and she's not excluded. She will never be excluded, because I will never exclude her. Irrespective of what anybody else ever does, I will never exclude her. So that's how we start to really cultivate that love of ourselves. And we also start to cultivate seeing ourselves as the divine beings that can see ourselves through those eyes of love, and see the others as well through the eyes of love.